Morning. How is everybody? Who's with us? Just had a nice little relaxing, stretchy stretch. So good morning. It's good to see everyone. I hope everyone's having a nice, relaxing morning in the beginning of our Labor Day weekend, which really feels nothing feels like right like normal, right? Because I was like, oh, it's Labor Day weekend. Like it just went over my head to realize that it was Labor Day weekend. So here we are, and fall is here. It is cold. uh all right, we're going to get started for our yoga basics. I'm Belinda with Just Be Yoga. It's good to see everyone. Yoga basics is going to be a little bit of a flow, but we work on the fundamentals of most standing postures, seated postures, reclining postures. So it doesn't mean that some things may not be or feel maybe like a little bit of work, but um, we're going to be approaching from the most fundamental uh, spaces of them. So feel free to let me know that you're here. If you will type in the comment box, I'll be looking up as well if there's any specific requests of any postures or even any questions you have. Let's use this opportunity that we have to be interacting with one another to the best of our ability. All right. So why don't we start standing today? Also, if you have a block or a strap, just have them nearby. We don't need them right away, but you never know when you might want to use them. Okay. Sorry, I'm just adjusting my mats. Okay. Let's start in a standing posture. And you can have your feet apart. You can have your feet together. So that's up to you as to what feels good. I'm going to start off a little apart. Sitting upright, trying not to lock the knees, and just feel where we are in our bodies. Feel ourselves standing up simply. Now feel what's pressing down and what's lifting up. Do we know? No strain, just feel. Now let's see about coming onto the tippy toes and back to the heels. Keep it simple, nothing big, just feel ourselves moving for no other purpose other than to connect with moving. Connect the mind, connect the body. Cool. Now we're going to do a few pelvic tilts, all right? Always helps to have a little beat, a little bit of music if you wanted to, just to become familiar with tilting the tailbone under and tilting it back. So I'm just trying to tilt it under and back. Now see if you can find that even space here. So we're not jutting it backwards or forward. And we can lengthen upward. Now I'm going to show this lengthening upward. I'm going to exaggerate, bringing the shoulders up by the ear. Can we keep that rooted down? Now let's just go ahead and exaggerate it again. Bring it up by the ears. Feel the muscles that are working to lift the shoulder socket up and then shoulder socket down. Let's see if we can keep it down from here on out. Let's check again from the ground up. Feel your feet. Try not to lock your knees. Try not to be dipped back or forward in the pelvic bowl. Not lifting the shoulders. And now we're just like, okay, this is my body holding itself upright. Nice deep breath. Exhale, let's explore a gentle side bend. Now be in the legs, pushing down, upper body reaching up and over. No strain. Try not to put any strain on any specific area. Let's breathe in and lift. Exhale it over. Yoga means to create a connection. So we're connecting and noticing what's going on in the physical body, in the mind, and the breath. Let's let that triad work together. Breathing in, lifting up. Let's feel it again. Feel your feet. Try not to lock the knees. Where is your pelvic bowl? Shoulders are down. And we're going to hinge at the hips. Our first time in an inversion. Letting our upper body come forward. So an inversion just really means that the head is beneath the heart, right? It doesn't have to be in a handstand or anything. Now, since we have bent forward, let's go ahead and look at our feet. Are the feet even? Okay. Or are the big toes on the same line? And maybe there's a little adjustment that you need to make for that. I like to keep the knees bent, and then go ahead and grab opposite elbows and see if we can let our upper body go. Now, depending on our size and our torso, you might want to have your legs a little wider to make room for the belly or the chest. That's entirely up to you. Now, if we're feeling really endowed in the chest area, and if you are a person who wears bras, you might want to get like a little extra tight one, a little tighter, or a double bra, or just a tighter tank top, just for these inversion spaces. Let's shift forward and back, and just notice what you notice along the backs of your thighs. How the stretch sensation changes along different regions, maybe including your back as you go. Let's build some awareness of the breath deep in the belly, letting the arms go, taking our time to gently roll our spine up to standing. And then we'll come back to this standing upright space called mountain. So we're standing firm on our mountain, but not rigid. Let's shift our weight into the left leg, and we'll lift the right, just an inch off the floor. Maybe just go ahead and put the toe back down and lift. Toe back down and lift. Now, see if you can keep your attention on your left leg, all the way up and down your left leg. And let's just do that again. But notice, how is that leg making adjustments to keep you upright? What happened to the upper body? Is it starting to dip? Are we still in the mountain? So in these standing poses, we want to carry the elements of the mountain still. Let's bring that right foot down, root into it. Maybe shake that leg out. I think that's legit. Shake that out. And let's come on back into the mountain. And we'll root into that right leg now. And lift the left foot just an inch. What happened to the mountain? Now that I'm facing the camera, I can see my mountain's got a little kink in its side. So I want to ask, I can stand back up. So sometimes, especially in a home practice, you might want to use a benefit of having a mirror. We'll bring that toe down, feel that right leg and lift. Feel all the quivers and shakes. Standing back in my mountain, so because that mirror, that camera right now is holding me accountable to really standing upright. It's like, I thought I was doing a thing, but clearly I wasn't doing a thing. I am. Let's go ahead and bring that foot down. All right, I'm going to shake that one out. Let's see if we can bring this all together. Again, we're building awareness of standing upright in our mountain. Now, I'm in my practice now, been in it for a little bit, so I feel a little bit better about having my legs together. That's my practice. You still make a choice. You can have them wider, whatever, just have the feet even. All right, feel the pressure in your feet. Is it even? Not on one side or the other, forward or back. Knees not locked. Hips. Good. We're going to lift upright through the arms, shoulders down, breath in. Can you grow taller through the waist? Exhale, gentle side bend, pushing those legs down. Breath in as we lift. Are you lifting something other than the limb of your arms? Exhale, over to the other side. Rooting, lengthening. Inhale, just be with what you're feeling in your body. Exhale, come forward. We're listening to what the body has to say. Let ourselves come forward. Now, you can have your hands on a block or the floor, but let's see about just pedaling the heels up and down here. Waking up that low body. Feel your breath. And where is your mind? Can we keep the mind here on the mat as a point of focus? And let all of the distractions of life, they can resume after class, after your practice. And we'll roll the spine up. Okay, we're going to lift the left leg. You choose that height. And let's see about opening. Now I'm going to stay in my mountain upright here, feeling this leg. Bring that leg back and bring it down. I'm going to switch. Root now into the left, lifting the right. Breath. And then see if it opens. Don't worry about how much, because we're doing a lot here. We're standing on this leg, asking this one to open. We're listening. There's so many things going on in our body. And bring it back. Thank goodness we're not in charge of the heartbeat and the lungs and all of that, because if we had to add that to the list, right, it'd be too much. Let's bring that down. Let's breathe in and lift. Good, gentle side bend. So we're just going to start to add on into this sequence, building and practicing elements that we're learning along the way about rooting and lifting. Good. About these mountain poses, about forward folding, how to move our flesh out of the way, acceptance of where we are, not striving to make the body do anything that it doesn't want to do. And let's roll the spine back up, patient, slow. Feel the back of the neck as you lift the chin last. I'm going to root into the right leg, lift the left. I want to see how high it wants to go this time. Mine is going to do whatever it's doing. Don't worry, maybe your higher is right here. That's great. And let's open that door. Now I'm going to step that leg back. Okay? So I've got those toes turned flat. This foot stayed aiming forward. I'm going to turn my hips and I'm going to sink. And let's just come up and down a little. Feeling the hip, feeling the groin. And if you would like, you can reach the arms out and see if we can try to suspend these arms. So maybe a soft give in the elbows. Now I'm going to turn sideways. Soft give in the elbows. When we're rigid this way, that brings the shoulders up in that tense space. So if we encourage the elbows to bend, the rest might actually want to follow. And then let's just flow. So where's the mountain in this pose? Hips, chest, up. Never let this knee go past the toe. We don't want to go to extremes. And that might be a hard concept to believe, especially if we see a lot of like weird yoga poses on the internet or in magazines, because it looks extreme. But let's take into account how long it may have taken for something that looks extreme to us to not be extreme in that body. All right, now I'm going to look forward. I'm going to step this back leg up. Now you can take a few steps, right? So we can take a step and a step. Or maybe you want to see, hey, can I step? All right, so that's up to you. We're going to get ready for the other side. Find our mountain. Rooting into that left leg, asking the right leg to lift. Again, I'm going to see if this side, what's going to go on as far as me lifting that leg. And then opening that gate, feeling that hip. Finding my mountain. All right, we're going to glide that back, reaching it back. Bend this front knee and bring the toe down. Turn. All right. Mountain in the upper body. Sinking and straightening. Nice and fluid, just warming some things up. Now ask yourselves, did you step too wide? Right? Maybe you need to shore it up in the beginning. And the next time, because we're going to come through this one more time, maybe that's an opportunity to widen it out. Remember what I said, the body is at ease in it. It might look extreme in someone else's body. Don't have yourselves feel something extreme. We're going to find an ease. And gradually, as the body opens into it, we'll get into a deeper space and a deeper space, but we carry the same ease that we have as we had when we first started. Arms. All right, so now I'm going to turn here once again. Just a flow. Relax the neck. Where's that ease? Reflect on that maybe. Where's that ease she's talking about? Where's that ease in me? And it's going to look how it's going to look for you. Just give yourselves permission to feel that ease. You don't have to be under any pressure. No deadlines here, no performance evaluation. All right, we're going to look forward. I'm going to step up. This time I'm going to take a few steps on this side. So I'm going to bend this back leg a little and give it a spring and up. All right, we're back in our mountain. Let's come up onto the tippy toes, back down to the heel. And then lift through the chest. We'll breathe in, breath, lift. Exhale, gentle side bend. Good, and we'll lift it up. Now let's feel the legs here. Can you feel the feet pushing down? Can you squeeze the thighs? Exhale it over. Bringing some attention to how much sturdiness and structure and stability do you give to your base. Breath in, lift up. How aware are we? And as we come forward, see if we can keep squeezing the legs. Now that may have changed the whole experience. And that's okay. We're here to learn, we're here to feel, and we're here just to connect. Do we know what our bodies are doing? Do we know how our bodies are meeting our minds? And how are our minds meeting our bodies? Let's bring ourselves up. Okay, so we've done a mountain and we've done a forward fold called Uttanasana. Mountain, Tadasana, that forward fold, Uttanasana. All are still standing postures. One is an inversion, but positioning the feet, caring about what you're doing in those knees, not putting any extreme pressure on the backs of those knees, all right? And caring for where that pelvic bowl is. Paying attention and setting up how we are in our bodies. We're going to go into that warrior two one more time. First, we're going to do the standing one-legged space, or kind of a Uttira Parangustasana. So we're going to lift that left leg. And we're going to open it up. It's kind of like a modified tree, maybe not. Chest up, just feeling standing. Solid post here. Open hip here. Rest of it, try to work it out. All right, I'm going to open that leg out and come into that warrior two. I'm going to turn sideways for us here. And then see if I can aim the hips good into that nice sideways plane. Now, how about a few pelvic tilts? Oh, feel what's going on. Now remember what I said, our second pass through? Maybe you want to widen that out a little. I'm going to do it with a little wiggle squiggle rather than try to lift that foot. I'm going to bend this knee, chest up. Feel what the feet have to say, calves have to say, thighs have to say. Now a little alignment. If you were to draw a line from the back of this right heel, it would make a capital T with the arch of your left foot. Okay, bring myself back in, noticing what I'm noticing. Arms out, shoulders down. Where's the mountain? Remember, all standing poses have the mountain in it. This lift, this root. Breath. Side angle. We'll bring the elbow here. Maybe lengthen to the ceiling. Maybe stretch. Breath. It's not yoga if we're not connected to and knowing where our breath is. Bringing ourselves back up. All right, we're going to step back up. Take as many steps as you like. Maybe you're going to give yourselves a big old catapult up. Good. Let's just switch. We're going to root into the left. Have that right leg lifting. Growing tall. Where's your mind? And open that hip. Now be okay with every wobble and wiggle. Don't try to let this be about perfection. Oftentimes when we come into one-legged postures, that's where the mind goes. But that's not the pursuit. Let's love every wobble, every wiggle. I'm going to step it back. Now I'm going to find warrior two this time with my back to you so you can see a bit of that alignment or that perspective. All right. So knee over heel. Done my alignment with that heel, with that arch. I'm going to scoop the tailbone under, growing tall in the chest, shoulders down. Maybe I've got my little bird wings. Feeling out this side. Maybe the body is starting to heat up. What are we starting to notice? Is the heart beating a little bit more? How are we experiencing our skin? How are we experiencing our muscles, our tendons, our bones? How are we experiencing them? Elbow to the knee for side angle. All right, so now on side angle, you might be like, well, where is the mountain here? Got to root through the legs. This tailbone still going down. Still length through the top of the head. Breath. And bring ourselves back up. Let's go ahead and bring ourselves up to the top of our mat. Inhale, lift. Where was your attention when you grew tall? Go through your checklist, maybe shoulders down, pressing down through the legs. Exhale, bringing it forward to Uttanasana. Good. Let's bring our hands down and come down to hands and knees. Okay. So now we've gone from standing, where we did a side angle, warrior two. We did our mountain. We did a standing one-legged space and the standing one-legged open hip space. Oh, and we did our side bends. All right. So feeling out standing postures and how we experience being in the body while we're standing. Now we're going to be in these kneeling postures, which can be contraindicated if you have any pressure in the knees, any problems with those knees, injuries, etc. Feel free to get blankets and put them under the knees if you need. The wrists can also take a lot of pressure here. And so if your wrists don't find this a lot of fun, you could make a fist and rest on the knuckles. You could end up coming down to the forearms if you like. I will warn you, sometimes that actually puts more work on your core. That could be a double plus, that could be a double negative, depending on your perspective. All right. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hip bones. So we'll just first look at our alignment and see if we're okay with that alignment and what wants to resist that in us. Maybe there's something in us that's like, oh, you know what? I would really prefer my body is happier here. Well, maybe this is a little bit of lengthening for us. All right. So feel your root. Anything that's in touch with the earth has got to be our rooting point. So we're going to push down through both arms. The knees are going to do what they do. You really don't have to do much. We'll reach the right heel back. And let's pull the knee in, out, up, and back. All right, so now that we've got the torso parallel with the earth, the torso kind of has to do a little bit of work on its own to support itself in between the pillars of the arms and the knee. So as we're doing these hip rotations, try to be aware of your belly area. The sides of the belly, the center of the belly, low belly, upper belly, that whole core area. Notice also if you're leaning to the left. Breath. Try not to let the belly sag. Try not to let the back puff up to the ceiling. Change direction. So we're feeling this heat build. We're lubricating into this hip joint. Working this biggest limb unsupported. Maybe we're feeling a little fire in that right butt. Good. Let's bring that knee down. Let's go ahead and give these wrists a break. Shake it out. I'm going to bring my hands to the low back. Pushing hips forward. Trying to just keep the hips over the knees. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Stretch the chest upward. Stretch the belly flesh upward. Breath in. And bring ourselves back down. All right, how did we experience the body there? How did the mind experience the body? How did the body experience the mind? Do your alignment. We're here in these kneeling postures that might work a little bit of the arms, but also the core will reach that left leg back. Okay, if you need more of a break in between, always give yourselves that break. That ease we talked about in the standing poses of what looks extreme and what looks like it has ease, we carry that in all of our poses. Breath in, exhale, knee to belly, out to the side, up and back. What's the biggest, smoothest arc we could make? Woo. And then what are we experiencing in that joint? Any pinchy feelings, anything sharp? Does it feel nice and smooth? Does it just feel heavy? Does it feel like work? Feel your core. Maybe try to tighten your belly button. Change direction. Notice the weight bearing in your arms. Are you all the way back in the knee? Are you on one side more than the other? Left arm, right arm? Breath. Good. Let's bring that leg down. Now we're going to go to child's posture. I'm going to widen my knees. I usually always teach that as a nice basic way of starting into your child's pose. It gives room for the belly to fit in between the thighs as we sink the butt back toward the heels and we let that upper body go. How are we experiencing the body here? How is the mind experiencing the body? How's the body experiencing the mind? What do I mean by that? Our bodies experience our mind when we're all tense, when we're rushing, when we think that we're multitasking. Our bodies certainly suffer all of the injuries of when our mind is somewhere else and we trip and we fall or we bang a body part up against furniture or something. So the body experiences the mind. And how does the mind experience the body? Let's come forward to hands and knees. So now we'll feel weight bearing in the arms and shift it back. So we're going to feel movement in the torso, some compression in the belly. Let's breathe in and come forward. Feel the arms supporting us as new arm legs, different root. Exhale, sinking it back. Good, let's bring it forward. And then see if we can just lay ourselves down. Bend the elbows back, lowering ourselves down. And we'll bring the forearms out in front of us to get ready for a sphinx. Okay? So I'm going to have my elbows under shoulders, inner thighs together, push down through the forearms, lift the head, tuck the chin down. Try not to dig into the elbows. See how much of the back, the spine, you can find lifting without crunching the low back. And can you fill up the belly with breath? Good. Let's lower ourselves down, turn our head to one side. Nice deep breath. Sigh it out. And turn our head to the other side. We'll prop ourselves up one more time on these elbows. And let's see about stretching a little bit of the hips and the quads in a half of a Dhanurasana. So a half of a bow pose. So we'll bend the left leg. Now you might need a strap for this. Let's see what happens. We're going to take the left hand, so you need to support yourself with your right arm and actually bring some attention to that support, that right arm being able to push down and lift the chest. And this could be good enough. You can just stay right here and pull that heel up. If you want to see if that hand can find the foot, go ahead. And then just lay the belly down. Breathing in, breathing out. Gently release it. Try not to let it snap to let go. And we'll get ready for the other side. So pay attention to how you're providing support, pushing down through this left arm. As we bend the right knee back, that can be good enough. Just staying right here, pushing down, lifting the chest. Hip is thrusting into the floor. But if you want a little bit more, that'll add a little bit more pressure and lengthening, stretch as you will, in the quad. But it can also put a lot of pressure on the knee. So feel out what feels good for you, what feels safe. And we'll push down through that left arm. Lift the chest, find your breath. And you can let that upper body go while holding the leg. Good. Let's gently release that. And we'll bring ourselves up to a sitting posture. All right. Well, welcome to all who are here for our yoga basics. I'm Belinda. I've seen folks coming in and out here this morning, so I don't know, Labor Day weekend, right? Okay, so we've got our legs out in front of us. They don't ever have to be together. Flex the toes to your face, sitting up tall. This is called Dandasana, or staff pose. It is the root of our sitting postures. Doesn't mean that it's not a pose unto itself, so it's something worthwhile practicing. It really helps you confront the mind. Go, cat. All right, so I'm going to flex the toes. Legs are straight out in front of us. Now, they don't have to be, okay? They could end up being bent. Spine upright, okay? So try not to let that back cave backwards. And if it is, walk the knees in and lift the chest up. Okay, that's a great way to start to get the spine involved where we need it to be, and let the legs catch up to us, okay? So feel out where you want to be. I'm going to stay right here with my knees just a little soft bend. I think you can see that. My chest is up, my shoulders are down. Now I've got a slight tilt backwards of my tailbone, lifting through the rib cage. Gaze is neutral, chin is slightly level. Flex the toes to your face. I'm going to go ahead and straighten the legs now. Push the backs of the legs down or your sit bones down, because if the knees are bent, and feel this lifting. You might be feeling a little fatigue, a little work starting to happen. Go on, Puma. Check in. Your chest might be shrinking down. Could you lift the chest any further? And then let's go ahead and do the same thing that we did here when we were in mountain lifting. Go ahead and exaggerate, shoulders up, and now bring those shoulders down. Okay, now we'll grow tall through here, lifting through here. All right, so this is the foundation of our seated postures. If the legs are out in front of us in these seated postures, they're active. They're squeezing and pushing down. And then the upper body is lifting. Energy going in both directions. Breath in. Let's twist and revolve. Chest up. Now go ahead and let that back hand rest. You can hold on alongside your thigh. Chest up, same deal, okay? So this is still active. Upper body still active. And twist. Breath in. Move from that mid-belly. Twist. Feel the bones of the spine moving. Feel the flesh. Breath in. And twist. Good. And let's come back to center. We're going to lift. Find where we are. Apply yourself. Notice what's getting tired. Is it just the mind to working on the focus? Focus is exhausting. It takes energy. And let's go ahead and revolve. Chest up, shoulders down. Breath in. Revolve. Now go ahead and rest the arms. Greet this side. Breath in, lift the chest. Exhale, twist, twist, twist. I had to hold myself accountable there and lift the spine a little bit more. And it doesn't mean I'm trying to be perfect. It's saying, oops, I let go of keeping my focus on the practice of yoga. I kind of let myself go off into a little daydream land there for a second. And bring ourselves back. One more time if you want. We're going to lift up, shoulders down. And let's hinge forward. See if you can keep your back as straight as you can. And then bring yourselves back up. Feel that work, feel that energy, and we'll hinge forward. Breath, you're a human protractor. And bring ourselves back up. All right, we're going to go as far as we can and stop and hold that straight line, growing tall through the upper body, pressing down through the back body. And how does this feel different than when we did the forward fold standing? The body is pretty much in the same shape. Different energy. And bring ourselves back up. Good. So starting to feel the energy it takes to get into what's called Paschimottanasana, or this forward fold. But we're bringing the mindfulness of the muscle action that it takes, building the structure, working the mind. Okay, so we're going to stay with the Dandasana on the seated. We're in the basics of seateds. So I'm going to bring now the sole of my left foot up against my right inner thigh. For you, that might be down toward your knee. For some, it might even be down toward the calf. Just depends on how much this hip wants to bend open that way, okay? So find where you want to be. You could put a cushion or a pillow underneath of this thigh. Now remember, the foundation pose, got to find it first. So that's the Dandasana. So this chest is up, this leg is out in front of us. Pressing now this butterfly wing. So we've added in the hip opener into this seated space. I'm going to do just a little teeny twist to the right because it feels good. And now, if you want to use a strap, you could bring a strap to the bottom of this foot and hold it as close to the foot as you can and pull your chin and your chest forward, or you just let everything droop forward. Now we're probably feeling different sensations or stretches in different areas. Maybe the back of that right leg in the calf. Can you keep that leg flexed? Maybe you're feeling it in your low back or your hip on the other side. In between the shoulder blades, depending on how far down we come. Whatever you're feeling is valid, but what's the relationship you're having with what you're feeling? How are you experiencing your body? And let's bring ourselves back up. We'll bring this leg up mindfully. And feel your Dandasana first. Coming back, use that as a reset. Helps remind us, what are we practicing? And then we'll switch it out. So yoga is an 8-limbed or 8-segmented practice. And so the yoga poses are just one part of it. Awareness of our breath and how we're practicing different breath practices is another. Maybe a little juicy twist here if you like. Where's your Dandasana? Where's that energy? Relationship to our senses. Here we go. We're going to come forward. If you'd like to use a strap here, go ahead. Coming forward, or just let that upper body drape. What is the relationship we're having to our senses right now? Are we in a space of, oh, this is my favorite pose, I really love it? Are we in a, oh my God, I hate it? And we let the sensations dictate how we respond? Oh, what's our relationship with focus? That's another limb of yoga. We'll bring ourselves back up. Meditation, being present with a quiet mind. I'll bring my feet together, knees open. Now, I'm going to turn sideways again, give you a different profile look for this. A lot of times people hike this knee, the heels super close in, and then here's what happens, all right? So would love for us to find an even space here, lifting the chest, shoulders down, so that you can have the heels further out and have that chest up, okay? So this is Baddha Konasana. The Dandasana part is in that erect, straight intention of the spine, and pull the chest forward. Keeping that spine straight, for me, in how I teach and how I practice it, is less about keeping the back muscles straight. Yeah, the back has to be a part of the partnership, but it's about, can my core muscles, can my abdominal muscles, the balance that we seek and we learn about in this practice, can that core start to be more of a support for me? Breath in, breath out. And we'll bring ourselves up. Okay, I'm coming out of the Baddha Konasana. You can linger in those postures as long as you like, okay? We're going to do one fire pose, the boat pose, before we come down into some of the reclining postures and close out our practice for today. So I'm bring my feet down. I'm going to just turn sideways here because it's the seated posture. So if you're like, okay, if it's a sitting posture, the Dandasana's got to be in there somewhere. Yup, it's right here. Oh, darn. Right? It's like, oh, darn. Because once we have to do that, keeping that spine, that erect, game on, right? Feet are down, knees up, chest erect, bliss on our faces. I know that could be too much of a tall order right there. Now, if you absolutely must, go ahead and use these hands. But let's try not to just be using the arms. So just like fingertip touch, just give you a point. And then lift the chest on your own. Check in by lifting the hands. Breath. Now, you could reach your arms out in front of you. If you want more and you feel like you can keep that spine erect, go ahead and lift one leg. Switch. Both feet. Okay, now we're going to round the low back. Round the low back. Lower it down. Now from the chest, as though there's a rope on your chest, we're going to pull the chest up and round and pull the chest up. Feel your feet pushing down. Anything in contact with the earth is going to help us ground. Round. Push the feet down. Lift the chest. Nice. Let's go ahead and round all the way back. Woo! And now we've arrived at the space where we'll do postures from this recline positioning with our back as a part of our root, okay? So we started standing where the feet were the only root. And so that's a really small surface of space for the body. When we got to the kneelings, we had the hands and the knees, a little bit more surface. We got to the seated. We had the whole backs of the legs, a lot more surface. Now we've got our back, our entire back and torso onto the floor, a whole bunch of surface. So we don't feel like we have to work to root. Feet 2 inches or 3 inches apart. Heels as close to the butt as is comfortable. Keep the gaze up to the ceiling. So now let's press down through the feet and lift the hips. So you may be asking, well, what's the root of lying down poses? And lower it down. Lying down on your back. So feel that space resting. Now push your back into the floor and relax. Push your back into the floor and relax. Now push down through the feet and lift the hips. Breath, no strain, don't go to the extreme. Find a softness before you get to the edge of that stretch and lower it down. Push your back into the floor. Good. Let's wiggle the knees to touch, feet wide. I'm realizing we're running a little bit out of time here. And let's let the knees just flop side to side. We're getting to turn the hip bones, those upper thigh bones, inward. And that inward rotation gives a nice stretch into the sacrum in the back of us. Remember, things connected. Everything is connected. And we'll straighten the legs out. You can let your feet go limp. A lot of people, it's not comfortable to lie flat on your back. So if you prefer to keep your knees bent in like this, great. If you prefer to have your legs in butterfly, go for it. You could put a pillow under your knees. The point is, bring some ease to the body, to the countenance, so that you won't be distracted. You won't be disrupted. Let's take a nice deep breath in together. Breathe it out the nose. Perhaps let your eyes remain lightly open with your eyelids heavy. Notice everything you can feel. Weight and pressure. Temperature. Touch. Let your mind go to an area of your body that you feel is not sending you a signal about feeling. And notice what you notice there. How do you know it's there? How do you know it's still connected to you if it isn't sending you a signal about feeling? Be with your sense of hearing. Any sound. Resist the urge to identify the sound. Just experience your ears hearing sound. What is the sound of non-sound? Let's start to invite little wiggles, stretches. How is your mind experiencing your body right now? How is your body experiencing your mind? And we'll bring ourselves upright to a seated space. We'll bring our hands to our heart center. All the love and light in me is deeply grateful for all of the love and light in you that you share in the world. Namaste. Thank you all for joining for our Yoga Basics this morning. Hope you have a really safe and lovely Labor Day weekend. We've been donation-based for 10 years, and we hope to be able to continue to share yoga practices, meditation in an accessible way across the community. So if you wish to give us a donation, we will gratefully accept paypal.me/justbeyoga. Namaste, everyone. Peace.